Hello, Jared, and welcome everyone to Vibrations and Manifestations.
Hi, Alicia. Great to be diving deep with you and everyone listening today.
Absolutely. So, today we're unpacking something, well, profound.
Hmm.
The huge power, often kind of hidden, of your personal narrative.
Mm-hmm.
We spend so much time and energy trying to manage everything out there, right? Our schedules, our goals.
Yeah, day-to-day fires.
Exactly. But today's deep dive is all about revealing how the quiet script of your past is actually the main force shaping your now.
That really is the heart of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our focus today is squarely on narrative transformation.
Okay.
And the core idea, is that your identity, who you genuinely believe you are deep down, what you think you're capable of, your potential, it's basically constructed. It's built and maintained by the stories you tell yourself over and over about your life.
Right. Like programming.
Sort of, yeah. And today we're bringing together insights from, foundational psychology, some really cutting-edge neuroscience, and also energetic principles.
The whole picture.
The whole picture. To explain how you can move from just, recounting a history of survival, which many of us do, to actively authoring a future. A future defined more by ease, by flow, by conscious creation.
And that silent problem, the one you mentioned, for so many of us, it's being stuck narrating from this past tense voice.
The old voice.
Yeah, the old voice. It belongs to that version of you that maybe had to get through tough times, or the one who had to hustle like crazy.
Or constantly prove themselves.
Or prove their worth, exactly, to everyone else.
And that old voice, it dictates the whole emotional tone, you could even say the frequency of your origin story.
Okay, explain that a bit more, the frequency.
Well, think about it. What's the main narrative? Is it fundamentally a tragedy? Is it a story of just relentless survival, like gritting your teeth through life?
Or just endurance, like I just keep going.
Exactly. And while those narratives can sound strong, resilient on the surface, they often carry this really profound, heavy vibrational weight.
Like an anchor.
Precisely. And that heaviness, that sort of energetic density, it subtly but very forcefully limits your potential for real growth, for attracting things effortlessly. It puts a ceiling on things.
Okay, so if that past story is creating the ceiling for right now,
Yeah.
what's our mission today? What are we aiming for in this deep dive?
Our mission is to really look at the evidence across these different fields, psychology, neuroscience, energetics, showing that by intentionally shifting the meaning you give to past events.
Not denying the events themselves?
No, absolutely not denying them, but reframing their significance, their impact on who you are now. By doing that, you literally build a new self.
Wow.
And this new identity, it's anchored in the wisdom you gained, not just the wounds you endured. And that matches a higher, clearer vibrational frequency. It makes true alignment, true manifestation actually possible.
So we're essentially handing over the tools for authorship.
We are handing you the pen, definitely.
Okay, let's lay the groundwork then. This whole idea of identity being a narrative. It's not just some, feel-good concept. It's actually a solid cornerstone in modern psychology. And it really stems largely from the work of Dan P. McAdams and his narrative identity theory, right?
Absolutely. McAdams really changed the way we think about identity. He proposed that identity isn't some fixed biological thing you're just born with.
Right, not like eye color.
Exactly. Instead, he said that usually by late adolescence or early adulthood, we start actively constructing this internal kind of integrating story. He calls it a personal myth.
A personal myth. I like that.
Yeah, and it's dynamic. It's not static. It's this living, breathing story that weaves together all these different memories, experiences, core beliefs into something coherent.
Okay, so it makes sense of the chaos.
It does. It's how we mentally organize our past to understand who we are today and, just as importantly, where we think we're headed tomorrow.
So the story isn't just like a list of things that happen. It needs structure. Psychological coherence, you said?
Absolutely. The narrative needs to feel coherent to us. McAdams pointed out that really strong, healthy narratives have a few key things going for them.
Like what?
Well, coherence, the story needs to hang together logically, makes sense. Stability, the main themes shouldn't just wildly flip-flop every year. And generativity.
Generativity, what's that?
It's the idea that the story gives back something to the world, that it finds a meaning that serves a purpose larger than just the self.
Ah, okay, so it's not just navel-gazing.
Right. If your story lacks that generativity, McAdams suggested, it can feel kind of narcissistic or just stagnant, like you're constantly looping around the same old pain or trauma without moving forward.
Wow, the implication there is, it's huge. If identity is a story, then the narrator, that's us, now holds the pen, not just the character who went through it all.
That is the absolute crucial distinction.
Yes.
The character, the past version of you, had to endure the messy, maybe painful events. But the narrator, the you right now, gets the final say in what those events mean for who you are today.
That's empowering.
Hugely. And it brings us right to this subtle but world-shifting difference between just recounting your history, like reading facts from a book.
And actively rewriting the meaning.
Exactly. So many people, especially, people who achieve a lot, they get stuck telling that survival tale. It sounds incredibly strong, right? To say, look what I endured.
Yeah, it feels like a badge of honor sometimes.
It can. But that strength often comes with this heavy emotional anchor dragging behind it.
Okay, I have to push back just a little here, Jared. What if the survival tale is true? Like, really true? Isn't there a risk of this just becoming, toxic positivity? Just think happy thoughts about the trauma.
That is such a necessary and brilliant question, Alicia. And the key is right there in the definition of rewriting.
Okay.
We're not talking about denial. We're not pretending the bad stuff didn't happen. We're engaging in what psychologists call cognitive reappraisal. We're updating the moral of the story.
The moral of the story.
Think about it. You can't erase the physical memory of falling down, but you can absolutely change the theme from I am fragile because I fell to I am discerning because I learned exactly where that hidden trap lies.
Ah, okay. So the event is the same, the interpretation changes.
Precisely. Authentic narrative transformation includes the pain, it honors the reality of it, but it shifts the identity. You stop being defined by the pain and start being defined by the learning, by the wisdom gained from it.
That makes so much more sense, because if you build your whole identity around I'm an endurer, like you said, you're constantly sending out this signal energetically that you're ready for more stuff to endure.
You almost expect it, invite it even.
Yeah, endurance becomes this kind of psychological and vibrational ceiling. You can't really move beyond needing to endure.
And that leads us perfectly to this powerful shift we see people make, moving from the survivor to the alchemist.
The Alchemist, transforming lead into gold.
Exactly. Transforming the heavy stuff into something valuable.
That shift from enduring something heavy to being refined into something stronger and wiser, it changes the whole vibrational structure of the past, doesn't it?
Completely. The past stops being this chain proving how much you suffered, and it becomes a series of initiations, lessons learned.
Okay, so that core tension, narrating from the wound versus narrating from the wisdom, that's everything.
It is everything.
Yeah.
When you narrate from the wound, you stay stuck in that survival energy, that lower frequency. And guess what? You tend to attract more situations that validate that pain, that keep the wound fresh.
You keep proving the old story right.
But when you shift, when you start narrating from the wisdom gained, you attract opportunities that actually use the strength, the resilience, the compassion you learned. You step into that generative narrative McAdams talked about.
I actually went through something like this myself, a huge creative failure.
Oh, well.
Yeah, years ago, I poured everything, years, savings, confidence, all of it into this film project. And, well, it just completely collapsed. Money vanished, permits got pulled. The failure was very public, very painful.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds rough.
It was. And for months, maybe even a year, the only story running in my head was, I am a massive failure, period. And that narrative kept me small, totally frozen, terrified of taking any new creative risk.
That's the wound narrating loud and clear. Only seeing the loss, the failure. What changed it?
Honestly, it wasn't some grand epiphany. It was kind of random. I was looking through old archive footage from the project stuff I thought was basically useless, and I found this tiny, 2-second accidental shot.
Okay.
It was just the crew during a break, totally off script. They were just laughing hysterically, sharing snacks, totally connected. It was this fleeting moment of just pure quiet joy, completely unrelated to whether the film succeeded or failed.
Ah, so the main goal of the film failed, but this incidental human outcome was joy and connection.
Exactly. And that became my rewrite. My new narrative became, that project didn't fail me. It trained me to follow joy, not just perfection.
Beautiful.
I stopped seeing it as this definitive judgment on my worth and started seeing it as, yeah, a costly lesson, but a necessary one, training me to recognize and follow lighter energy, genuine connection. And honestly, when that story changed internally, my whole trajectory shifted. New collaborations felt easier, work felt lighter.
That's such a powerful example. The original events didn't change one bit, but the new meaning you gave them retroactively rewrote the emotional charge, the impact on your nervous system, and your point of attraction.
Exactly. It really proves the point. Okay, so we've got this powerful concept. Now let's really unpack the integrated evidence, because this is where it gets super interesting for me. The tangible proof that changing your narrative isn't just, positive thinking. It's actually physically restructuring your brain and shifting your vibrational field.
It's not just woo-woo, it's mechanics.
Right. It's mechanical re-encoding. Let's start with the science side.
Okay, let's dive into cognitive neuroscience first. There's this key concept called cognitive reappraisal. Researchers like Lisa Feldman Barrett have done amazing work here. Her core idea is that emotions aren't just things we find or react to, they're actively constructed by our brains.
Constructed. How so?
Well, when you shift how you interpret a past event, basically, when you change the story you tell about it, you literally transform its neural signature in the brain.
Whoa. So if I remember an old argument and think, I was total victimized, my brain processes that differently than if I think, okay, that's when I started learning how to hold a boundary.
Precisely. When you consciously choose to reappraise, you're engaging your prefrontal cortex, the rational executive function part of your brain.
The CEO?
The CEO, exactly. And it intentionally modifies the signals coming from the amygdala, which is like the emotional alarm center. So by changing the narrative, you're effectively rerouting that emotional memory. You dial down the fear or the shame attached to the event, and instead you encode it with a meaning of empowerment or learning or resilience. The memory itself is still there, but the emotional charge dissolves.
And the body follows that new neural command.
The body follows suit.
Yeah.
Less cortisol, calmer nervous system response. It's a physical shift.
And we see this same kind of mechanical process mirrored in the work of James Pennebaker on expressive writing, don't we?
Absolutely. Pennebaker's research, which is extensive, clearly shows that when you systematically reframe difficult life events through structured writing or journaling, your physical and emotional health measurably improve.
But it's not just venting, right? It's the structure.
That's the key. It's not just spewing emotion onto the page. It's the act of taking that chaotic, often nonverbal experience, the feelings, the sensations, and imposing linguistic structure on it.
Giving it words.
Giving it words, giving it a narrative flow, cause and effect, insight. Language is this incredibly powerful structuring tool for the brain. By forcing the chaos into a coherent story, you are chemically and structurally altering how that memory is processed and stored. You're integrating it into your overall identity framework in a healthier way.
And crucially, this isn't just about feeling better for a moment while you're writing. We're talking about lasting change.
Exactly. Which brings us to the findings documented by researchers like Richard Davidson and Daniel Goleman in their book, Altered Traits.
Great book.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Their work confirms that intentional mental practices like cognitive reappraisal, mindfulness, and the kind of structured narrative work we're discussing produce lasting neurological changes.
Not just temporary states, but altered traits.
Precisely. These are measurable structural shifts in brain activity patterns, even changes in brain structure that persist over time. When you consistently live from your new, empowering narrative, you are literally installing a permanent upgrade to your psychological and neurological operating system.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. But what about the body? Bessel van der Kolk's work, The Body Keeps the Score, is so central here. How does rewriting the story address the memories held in the body, the somatic stuff?
This is such a critical piece, Alicia. Trauma and deeply stressful past events often get stored primarily as implicit nonverbal memory. Meaning sensations, emotional flashbacks, physical reactions like a tightening chest or shallow breathing, somatic memory. Because these memories often lack a clear verbal story attached to them, the body can get stuck reliving the event whenever something triggers it, leading to that dysregulated nervous system fight, flight, freeze.
Okay, I get that. So how does the narrative rewrite help?
Rewriting the narrative, giving that stored somatic memory a coherent structure, assigning it meaning, finding the wisdom in it, helps move that embodied trauma out of that purely implicit nonverbal state.
So it's like we're finally translating the body scream into a reasoned sentence.
That's a fantastic way to put it, yes. By giving it that language-based structure, the experience can be properly integrated into your explicit verbal memory system, which is managed more by the prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
And that integration is what supports nervous system regulation. The event stops being something that feels like it's happening to you right now, and it becomes something acknowledged that happened in the past, something you survived, learned from, and integrated. Narrative change is essential for that deep nervous system level healing and reconciliation.
Okay. The science is incredibly compelling. Changing the story literally changes the brain chemistry and structure. Now, let's bridge this. How does this powerful physical reality connect to the energetic landscape? How does it prove that old principle, as within, so without?
If the brain is physically re-encoding its structure based on the new narrative, what's the energetic ripple effect? This is where we connect directly to the law of correspondence. That foundational hermetic principle, also key in New Thought. As within, so without.
The ultimate truth about attraction, really.
It really is. Your external reality, the things you experience, the people you attract, it's not random. It's a direct, often measurable reflection of your dominant inner beliefs and the consistent narratives you run.
So if my internal blueprint, rooted in that old, heavy story, is constantly repeating, I always have to struggle, or I'm just not worthy of good things.
Then that inner monologue organizes your neural activity, billions of neurons firing together to generate a specific electromagnetic field, a specific frequency. And often it's a lower, denser frequency associated with struggle or lack.
And I become like a magnet for things that match that.
You become an attractor for scenes, circumstances, even people that validate that struggling script. It's energetic resonance.
So changing the narrative isn't just changing my thoughts. It's literally altering the fundamental attractor field I'm broadcasting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. The organized, coherent firing of those neurons generates that measurable electromagnetic frequency from your brain and heart. When you consciously install a new, powerful, emotionally resonant story like, I am learning how to receive with grace and ease, you are physically organizing those neural networks differently.
Okay.
They start firing in a more coherent pattern, emitting a cleaner, higher frequency signature.
Right.
And the universe, the quantum field, that field of infinite possibilities outside you, it has to align itself to reflect that new inner truth. It's a vibrational match.
This makes the work of Neville Goddard feel so relevant here.
Oh, absolutely. Goddard was all about imagination being the creative act itself. His teachings on the revision of the past, that is this energetic work we're talking about.
It's not just daydreaming.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's an act of creation happening in the present moment that fundamentally shifts your self-concept now. By mentally revising a past event to emphasize the strength gained or the lesson learned, you are changing the entire energetic foundation of who you believe yourself to be right here, right now.
And Dr. Joe Dispenza really provides that modern bridge, connecting this more metaphysical understanding with the current science, especially around vibrational alignment.
He really does. Dispenza's work shows, with brain scans and biological markers, that thought-based reframing, that intentional mental practice, literally changes brain chemistry, it can change gene expression, and it changes brain frequency, the actual brain waves.
From stress patterns to coherence.
Exactly. When you consistently adopt and feel a new, powerful, emotionally charged story, your brain shifts. It moves from that chaotic, high-beta stress activity towards more coherent, high-frequency states like gamma and alpha. This provides the neural evidence. The coherent, vibrationally aligned thought is the new energetic signature.
And the external world mirrors it back.
It mirrors it back, perfectly matching the energetic belief that your life must reflect the revised script you're now living from. It's physics meeting metaphysics. Okay, so we've explored the foundations, we've looked at the compelling evidence from both science and energetics. Now let's move from understanding to doing, from analysis to active creation.
This is the practical part. Let's get hands-on.
Exactly. These next 3 tools are designed to help you create an immediate vibrational shift. They use the power of language and structure to consciously re-encode your energy.
All right, everyone. So if you're in a place where you can, maybe grab a notebook or open a notes app on your phone. Because when you start shifting your story through language, even simple language, your energy really does start shifting right away. So let's just take a nice, deep, slow breath in and let it all the way out. Let's get ready to write a new script.
Okay, first tool. We start at the very top level of your narrative, its title. Right now, just identify the current, maybe underlying title of your life story. Don't overthink it. Just jot down the phrase that kind of sums up the internal feeling of your life right now.
It might be something like trying hard to be enough, or maybe the constant fight, or always starting over again, whatever feels true for you.
Got it. Okay. Now, just quietly read that title back to yourself and really feel the emotional tone it carries. Notice the underlying stress, maybe the sense of hustle, the effort it implies. that feeling. That's the frequency you've likely been broadcasting.
Now the powerful part, the rewrite. Give your story a sequel title, a title that reflects who you are actively, intentionally becoming. This new title must feel lighter, higher vibration.
So if your old title felt like, say, still standing after everything, maybe evolve it into something like soft power or effortless flow.
Or if it was learning things the hard way, maybe shift it to something like trusting my inner guidance or following intuition.
Find that upgrade.
Find the upgrade. Now here's the key. Say that new title out loud. Don't just whisper in your head. Use your voice.
Right.
Claim it with some conviction.
Say it now. And as you say it, notice if there's a subtle shift in your body. Maybe your shoulders lift a tiny bit. Maybe there's a softening or opening in your chest. That immediate, subtle, physical response. That's your nervous system recognizing the new, higher frequency narrative. You just literally gave your next chapter a brand new operating frequency, just with a title change.
Okay, tool number 2. Let's get more specific now. Apply this to a particular memory. I want you to think of one pivotal past moment, one scene from your life that still kind of echoes. Maybe a moment of significant failure, a painful loss, or a time you felt really unseen or misunderstood.
The kind of memory that might still make your stomach clench just a little bit when you think of it.
Yeah, that one. Let that specific scene just surface naturally. Don't judge it. Don't push it away. Just observe it for a second, like a historical event. Picture it playing out like a short movie clip, maybe with some of that original emotional intensity still there.
Okay. You see the scene. Now, imagine you're stepping out of the scene and into the director's chair. You're behind the camera now. The historical facts of the event, what happened, must remain the same. We're not changing history. But your focus, the camera angle, shifts entirely.
Okay.
You are now focusing exclusively on what was gained in that challenging moment. What enduring quality was actually forged in that fire? Did you discover a hidden strength? Was it courage, fierce discernment, maybe unexpected compassion for yourself or someone else? Find the gold. Now, you're going to rewrite the voiceover for that scene, the narration playing in your head. So instead of the old narrative like, that's when everything fell apart and I totally lost my way, rewrite it to something like, that's the moment I truly realized the depth of my own resilience. Or instead of, that's when I was rejected and knew I wasn't good enough.
Change the focus to, that experience redirected me towards what truly fits my energy and path.
This is the deep work of authorship Alicia talked about earlier. You are not denying the event happened. You are reclaiming the meaning the event holds for you now.
Okay, so take a moment, find that new voiceover. Let that new, empowering version of the scene settle into your body. Feel the difference in your physical response when the narrative shifts from maybe shame or regret to strength or wisdom.
All right, our final tool of authorship for now. We're going to use a neat little neurological trick here. We're going to time travel 5 years into your future.
Okay. Close your eyes briefly if you can, if you're in a safe place to do so. Just take a breath. And picture that future you, 5 years from now. Wiser, more aligned, more at ease. See the confidence, the flow, maybe the success they embody. Really feel into that future self.
Now, you're going to write one short paragraph,
Right.
but here's the trick. Write it using the past tense. You are writing from the perspective of that future self, looking back at this present time, the time you're listening to us right now. That future self is narrating this current period as the crucial turning point. the moment things really shifted. The script should describe how the insights, the decisions, the narrative shifts you're making right now actually open the doors for that future successful self.
So it might sound something like, wow, I remember that season 5 years ago clearly, that fall. That was the exact moment I stopped just repeating the old story I inherited, and I finally, consciously started writing the true, expansive story of my own life.
Perfect. Something just like that. Now, the neurological impact here is really important. When you read that rewritten past scene from Tool 2, and then you read this future backstory, you're forcing your brain to re-encode those memories and future possibilities with the new, empowered meaning simultaneously.
You're bridging the past and future through the present moment of authorship.
Precisely. You are actively building the neural pathways for the next chapter right now and establishing your new, cleaner frequency as your baseline reality.
Okay, so you've done the deep work. You've started rewriting the script with these tools. That's huge. But let's be real. If you're like most of us, sometimes that little bit of residual static remains, right?
Yeah, heckos.
Yeah, that quiet, nagging voice of doubt in the back of your head that whispers, yeah, but what if this is too good to be true? Or, who am I kidding? Who am I to claim this new story?
It happens. That residual doubt is often just the old narrator, the old script, clinging on because it's familiar, even if it's heavy. So we need to run a gentle but intentional diagnostic check sometimes, just to clear out that lingering noise and keep tuning into your new higher frequency.
Okay, let's do it. Everyone listening, just take another slow, grounding breath in through your nose, hold it for a second, and then release it completely through your mouth. Let's check the quality of your internal chatter right now.
All right, think back over the last day or two.
Mm-hmm.
Can you recall a recent moment when you felt a little pang of doubt, maybe some fear, or that uncomfortable feeling of comparison?
Maybe it was a touch of imposter syndrome before a meeting, or scrolling social media and feeling less than, or just hesitating before making a decision you knew was right for you.
Pinpoint the exact limiting belief or phrase that popped into your head during that moment. It might have been something like, I'm always going to struggle with money, or I'm just not qualified enough for that, or I never get things right the first time.
Find that specific line. That's the old narrator speaking. That's the echo of the unrefined past script. Don't argue with it, don't justify it, just identify the glitch.
Now ask yourself this really critical, clarifying question. Whose story am I actually starring in right now with this thought? Is that belief genuinely yours? Or is it an echo you internalized somewhere along the way?
Like a parent's old criticism, a teacher's limiting comment from years ago, maybe just a cultural expectation you absorbed without realizing it.
Just bringing that awareness, acknowledging where it might have come from, is key. You see the source of the glitch, you become aware of it without resisting it, and you start to realize, hey, that line doesn't actually belong to the current author of my life, which is you.
Okay, now we edit the script. In real time, silently, just say that old glitchy line to yourself one more time. Just long enough to feel its restrictive, heavy energy, and then immediately cut it. Imagine visually slicing that line right out of your mental script. Delete.
Gone.
Yeah.
And replace it instantly. Immediately plug in a truer, vibrationally aligned line, one that uses the wisdom you've gained, maybe even from the earlier exercises.
So if the old line was, ugh, I had to struggle so hard just to earn this, replace it with something like, I learned valuable resilience then, and now I choose to receive with ease and grace.
Or if the line was, I feel like I'm falling behind everyone else, replace it with, I operate on my own divine timing, and my timing is always perfect for me.
Find that powerful replacement. Now, as soon as you've replaced it, do a quick physical vibe check. Tune into your body. What do you notice? Did your shoulders subtly drop and relax? Did your jaw unclench? Maybe that little knot in your stomach just loosened up?
That physical relaxation, however subtle, is the sign. It's the vibrational reset. Your nervous system is updating in real time to match the new, less resistant, higher frequency thought. All right, final step of the debug. Speak the new true story out loud, even if it's just a quiet whisper to yourself. Use declarative I am or I choose statements that anchor this new identity firmly into your present reality.
Like, I trust the unfolding of my unique path, or I am someone who consistently chooses ease and clarity in my life. Say it like it's already true.
Because in the moment you choose it, it is becoming true. This conscious, continuous installation, this debugging process, it runs in the background. It becomes your new default operating system.
And that new OS actively shapes your subsequent thoughts, feelings, and experiences, making sure your external reality starts reflecting the internal narrative of trust, ease, and sovereignty. Program debugged. Frequency upgraded.
Okay, we've worked with the concepts, the science, the language, the tools. Now we move into imagery and embodiment, anchoring this new frequency, this new narrative, deep into your physical and energetic systems.
We'll use a guided visualization to really cement the connection between that refined past and the future you're consciously creating.
So if you are in a place where you can safely close your eyes, please go ahead and do that now. If you're driving or walking, just soften your gaze, bring your awareness inward, and stay connected to your breath.
Take a slow, easy, measured inhale through your nose, maybe counting silently to 4. Hold it gently for a moment, and then a full, complete exhale through your mouth, maybe counting to 6. Just letting go.
Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your jaw soften. Just allow your body to settle and quiet down for a few moments. You are safe. You are supported right here, right now.
Imagine now, you are walking into a beautiful, empty, quiet theater. It feels vast and welcoming. And right there, in the perfect center spot, is a single, comfortable seat just waiting for you. Go ahead and settle into that seat.
As you sit down, the house lights dim slowly, completely, until it's comfortably dark. And then the large screen in front of you flickers gently to life.
At first, the film playing might seem familiar. It's showing scenes from your own past, maybe some of those moments you revisited, earlier moments of disappointment, maybe setback, maybe that feeling of not being quite enough.
Notice the soundtrack playing along with these scenes. Maybe it feels a bit tense, perhaps a little too loud or melancholy. It reflects the weight, the emotional tone of the old story. Just observe the old version of yourself moving through those past moments on the screen.
But notice that you, sitting in the seat, feel calm now. You are not lost in the drama on screen. You are the sovereign observer. You are the director of this personal myth.
Now imagine reaching down to the armrest of your comfortable chair, and your fingers find a small, simple remote control resting there. It feels powerful in your hand, and it has only 2 buttons on it: edit and reframe.
Go ahead and gently press the edit button. Instantly, you see the lighting on the screen change. Any harsh, cold blues or grays soften, shifting into warm golds, soft ambers, gentle rose tones.
And the music. The tense soundtrack shifts too. It becomes rounder, more compassionate, maybe softer, like a supportive mentor's guiding hand is now scoring the scene.
And you notice you can even trim the dialogue on screen. You mentally cut every line of harsh self-blame. You edit out the filler words of lingering regret. You are cleaning up the script, making it clearer, kinder.
Good. Now, gently press the reframe button. Watch as the camera lens on screen seems to zoom in. It moves past the big, obvious mistakes or failures that used to dominate the scene. Instead, it starts focusing only on the forgotten details, the hidden strengths.
You see the quiet resilience flicker in your past self's eyes. You pinpoint the exact moment courage was unexpectedly born. You notice the small sparks of creativity or insight that ignited right after the setback.
You focus now on the background details you might have missed completely before, maybe a supportive friend who showed up unexpectedly, or a crucial lesson hidden within the perceived pain, or even a beautiful moment of nature outside the window during a tough time.
Feel how each newly noticed detail, each reframed perspective adds warmth and light to the scene playing out. The story continues, but it feels profoundly different now. Lighter, wiser.
You realize, sitting there, that you are no longer being judged by this old story. You are actively redeeming it. You are choosing compassion, understanding, and discernment over criticism and regret. And as you do, the reel on screen seems to glow a little brighter.
Watch now as the film gently carries you through the final scenes of your life story up until this present moment. And then the images slowly, peacefully fade entirely, dissolving into pure, soft white light filling the entire screen.
And then on that screen of pure light, in soft, luminous golden letters, a single, powerful word gently appears. Becoming.
Just let that word resonate. Becoming. Take a deep breath all the way in. Hold it for just a moment, allowing the feeling, the power of that word, becoming, to integrate into your being.
Now exhale slowly, completely. And as you exhale, imagine that word becoming expanding, dissolving into beautiful golden light that spills off the screen and gently washes over you, filling every cell in your body, infusing every memory you just revisited with peace and wisdom.
You have fundamentally shifted your relationship with your past, and that internal shift naturally leads to a profound sense of peace and anchors you into an undeniably clearer, higher frequency right now. When you're ready, you can gently bring your awareness back to the room. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes if they were closed.
Wow. Today's deep dive really was a profound act of reclaiming your authorship, wasn't it?
It really felt that way. We established that your narrative identity isn't fixed. It's this living, functional script. And crucially, it can be neurologically and vibrationally shifted through conscious re-encoding.
Moving you out of just telling the story of mere survival and fully into the wisdom, the power of the alchemist within you.
And we walked through those key processes for transformation. Shifting your narrative title to reflect your evolution, rewriting a pivotal scene to really emphasize the strength and wisdom gained, and using that clever future backstory technique to narrate your present moment as the powerful turning point it truly is.
Plus the tools to clear out that static in debug mode whenever it pops up.
Right. So what does all this really mean for you listening right now? Here's the key takeaway, maybe the provocative thought to carry forward with you. While you absolutely cannot rewrite the events that happened in your past, you have absolute sovereign power right now to reclaim and redefine the story that past wrote about you.
And every single time you consciously choose and then tell yourself, maybe even speak aloud, a more empowering, wisdom-based version of your story. You anchor that higher frequency more deeply. You literally teach your body, your cells, your mind what true alignment and ease actually feel like.
So our invitation to you is to immediately engage with this. Maybe right after listening, take 5 minutes. Do the title shift again. Pick one scene to rewrite. Write that new script down. And then, tomorrow morning, read it aloud. Let the sound of your own voice be the physical evidence that your new, aligned story has unequivocally begun.
Yes. And next time on Vibrations and Manifestations, we're diving into the absolutely critical sequel to this work. Protection through energetic boundaries.
Ooh, that's essential.
It really is. We'll discuss exactly how to hold on to your new clean frequency, especially when you're out in a noisy, sometimes demanding world. How to stay open and receptive without absorbing external density or other people's energy.
Can't wait for that one. Until then, everyone, keep narrating from your wisdom. Remember that your story is still unfolding page by page. And always, always know, the pen is still firmly in your hand.
Beautifully said. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.